Graduates, go ahead and take your seats. Any family members or parents or friends that are looking for seats, we still have some over here on this side of the gymnasium. You can either make your way across the back or go around the outside of the gym, but there's plenty of seating up there in that upper corner. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome everyone in attendance to the 139th Annual Commencement Ceremonies for Webster City Schools. My name is Brent Jorth, and I'm the high school principal, and I'm joined up here by Pat Farley, Associate Principal, Superintendent Dr. Mandy Ross, and School Board President Beth Van Diest. At this time, I'd like to introduce Joshua Cassidy. Josh is the Senior Class President and will provide the welcome on behalf of the Class of 2019. Josh is the son of Michelle and Ryan Cassidy of Webster City. Josh?
Good afternoon, and welcome to the graduation commencement ceremony of the Webster City High School's Class of 2019. My name is Josh Cassidy, and I'm honored to be in front of all of you today as the class president of this phenomenal group of young men and women. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone that is here with us today, especially those who have made the trek from out of town or even out of state to join us on this extremely special day in our lives. We're so grateful for all of you, the teachers, the staff members, the friends, and the family that have helped us and pushed us to be greater than we ever thought we could be during these past 4 years. Can I please have a round of applause for all of these wonderful people? Because without them, we never could have made it to this moment. Now I'd like to take this brief time that I have up here to reflect. This year's class flower is the yellow carnation, which, if you Google it, doesn't stand for anything positive, but in fact, disappointment. Yes, that is entirely real, unfortunately. We found that out after the fact, but our class is so special academically, athletically, artistically, and in almost every way in between that it is anything but what is represented by our flower. We have National Merit Award winners. We have state participants and a handful of sports and even a few state champions. We have national finalists in rocketry. We have state speech participants. We have a student production award winner. This list could go on and on for hours, it seems like, but no matter what way you spin it, this class is one of the most gifted classes this school has ever seen. We should be so extremely proud of that, but I think we should be more proud of something else. Sure, those things will be the things that will be written about in the paper, but the civility, the work ethic, and the character of this class as a whole are unmatched, and what makes this class the best, in my opinion. Class of 2019, you've done everything right and honest, which hopefully makes all of your parents, grandparents, and guardians out there so proud to know that they raised some genuinely great young adults. But that doesn't mean we can stop here. A wise man by the name of Matt Doolittle once told me, "Don't be a freeloader because nothing in life is free." So we must keep working towards future successes with those characteristics at the forefront. We have two fantastic individuals coming up soon to speak with you all as well, so I'll let them handle more in-depth advice and memories because I know they have some great things to share. Let me just leave the class of 2019 with this one last thing. This is it, guys. We made it. But to save the cliche, I won't say that we did it, because in reality, we haven't yet. Today is the beginning of a brand new chapter in our lives called the real world, and it's ready for you to flip the page and get started. Wherever this beginning takes you, whether it be to college, to technical school, straight to the workforce, or anywhere else, I fully believe that each and every one of you is going to do something extraordinary with your lives. Our class quote by the great Walt Disney reads, "It seems to me that we have a lot of story yet to tell," and for this class, that could not be any more accurate. We, the class of 2019, are the future now, so let's go make that future great. Thank you, and go Crusaders. I mean, go Lynx. Go Lynx. Thank you, Mr. Jorth. Or sorry, Mr. Jorth.
At this time, we'd like to welcome Mr. Witherspoon and the Purple and Gold Singers to the stage. Each year, the senior class selects 2 students they'd like to speak on their behalf at commencement. It gives me great pleasure at this time to introduce our first speaker, Austin Lampman. Austin is the son of Amy and Jeff Lampman of Webster City.
Thanks, Mr. Jorth. Well, I made it on stage without tripping, so phase 1 was a success. I want to thank all you guys for coming today, friends, family, teachers, the rest of you. Winston Churchill once said, "Kites rise highest against the wind, not with it." This is an excellent quote for our class, which has risen to extraordinary heights throughout high school. It's my personal belief that the challenges we all faced, along with the experience we took away from these situations, are things that set this class apart. Something that was impressed upon me very early in my high school career was the importance of leaving a legacy. Positive legacies lead to positive culture, which leads to transcendent achievement in the future. The class of 2019 has made strides to build culture and has therefore left quite a legacy. Our class as a whole should never look back with regrets upon our high school careers. There's not a doubt in my mind of how we will all be remembered. I might be a little biased, but I believe that in many aspects, our class has achieved what very few in the history of Webster City High School have while still in high school. To begin with, I think it's most important to acknowledge our class's academic achievements. It must be noted that everyone in a cap and gown today made it, which is quite an accomplishment. Out of a class of 131 people, we finished with an average GPA of just under 3, which is awesome. We also had 5 students finish high school with perfect 4.0 grade point averages. Furthermore, we had a very large membership in our National Honor Society chapter and quite a few Cessna Honor Scholars. These statistics simply cannot be overstated. In short, we're pretty smart. Many of us will be graduating with college credit, which is another very important aspect of the depth of our education. Coming through Webster City High School has been an absolute blessing. While our academic achievements are quite impressive, I believe that looking at our class's success in extracurriculars adds yet another dimension to just how special the class of 2019 is. Extracurriculars mean commitment, and that means learning discipline. The impact of being involved is monumental. As I have already mentioned, we achieved some truly remarkable things in the classroom. However, the classroom and the real world are 2 completely different things. Being involved has taught so much that we can use in our future careers, whatever they may be. The intangibles, showing up early, always giving maximum effort, and having a competitive spirit are all developed through extracurriculars. All you need to do is look at the number of all-state athletes we've had, from a 2-time selection to the Des Moines Register elite football team, to a state champion wrestler, to countless athletes that competed in the state track competition, to see just how committed this class is to excellence. Achievements like these aren't accomplished during the competition. They're accomplished in all the hours of preparation leading up to the competition. I know I'm missing a lot of other great athletic achievements, but it's essential to look at the success that other activities have had as well. Our class was very involved with fine arts, drama, band, choir, speech, and so on. Our Rocket Club qualified for nationals, for those of you that don't have Twitter. We had many people participate in all-state band and speech, and some of this class's artwork is simply phenomenal. All this extra culture we were exposed to will no doubt help set us apart in the real world. I can still remember our first day here. We were a bunch of kids with big dreams. We might not be kids anymore, but those dreams still remain. And those goals will help us to achieve great things in the future. I could talk about all this class has achieved for hours. However, I don't want my dad to fall asleep in his nice, comfy folding chair, so I'll just get on with it. I'm going to share a metaphorical story with you about the experience that people that are older than us have. So my dad and I were out golfing. My ball landed at the base of a large tree. As we went up to the shot, my dad said, "When I was your age, I would have just hit it right over the tree." So I grabbed a 4-iron, took a mighty swing, and bounced my ball squarely off the trunk. My dad looked at me and said, "Of course, when I was your age, the tree was only 4 foot tall." All of the accomplishments I just mentioned, as well as a lot more, wouldn't have been possible without the people that aren't walking across the stage today. Parents, grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, friends, teachers, and coaches. What would we do without all of you? I'd probably still be at home trying to find some matching clothes if it wasn't for my dear mom. I'd also have a beard that would make ZZ Top smile and Clint Howard feel unmanly. The role of guidance of those closest to us is something that a lot of us will spend the rest of our lives trying to emulate. If our class is half as successful in bringing up the next generation as our parents were, I don't think the world's going to end for a little while longer. The point I'm trying to make is this. A lot of us wouldn't have been nearly as successful in high school as we were if it wasn't for all of you who guided us along the way. I think NBA MVP Kevin Durant would put it this way. You guys are the real MVPs. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you on behalf of the class of 2019. Now, I'd like to redirect my attention to my classmates. It goes without saying that our class has potential. With that being said, a very wise man once told me, potential is a fancy French word for hasn't accomplished anything yet. There's a lot of truth in this statement, so I want to share some advice for all of us as we go into the real world. First, there is no substitute for hard work. If you want something, go earn it, point blank. Working hard can take you further than natural ability, and we would all do well to remember that. Next, never lose track of your moral compass. Don't forget about what is most important to you. In today's world, discipline is becoming less and less important. I still think it's a key element of success, so that's why I challenge the class of 2019 to be uncommon. Stick to your goals. Don't flinch in the face of adversity. Lastly, we all need to remember to be realistically optimistic. Don't let anyone tell you what you can or can't do. These are just a few pieces of advice that will hopefully help us reach our true potential. I'd like to thank all of you in attendance once again, as well as my fellow classmates, for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I'll end this speech with a quote from Theodore Roosevelt. "Nothing in the world is worth having or worth doing unless it means effort, pain, difficulty. I have never in my life envied a human being who led an easy life. I have envied a great many people who led difficult lives and led them well." God bless you.
Thank you, Austin. Our next speaker is Alex Hooker. Alex is the son of Michelle and Terry Hooker of Webster City.
Good afternoon, graduates, relatives, faculty, Pat Powers. I'd like to start by congratulating the senior class of 2019. Today is your culmination of your time between these walls. Today you sit plagued with senioritis, battle-scarred from econ and government, and hungry for just one more Crispito from the lunch line. Your time competing in sports, volunteering in student council, and performing in chorus or band have all come to a close. You've inhaled your final breath of powder from a student section. You've endured your final Cupid shuffle at a high school dance, and you've conquered your final cardio day with Mrs. Schrader. While these were all just things you once did, they will soon become the fond memories that you think of when looking back on your days at this school and with these people. To quote Kesha, "I wish somebody would have told me, babe, someday these will be the good old days."
Now, on principle, I don't usually put too much stock into the words of people who have a dollar sign in their name, but I think she was really onto something with this line. I wish we could have known we were in the good old days before they were already over. When I reflect on these last 4 years, they feel no longer than just a fleeting moment. I remember as a freshman being told that we would be seniors before we knew it, and high school would go by quickly. I thought to myself, no way. How could 4 years of homework, ceaseless testing, and articles of the week possibly go by quickly? Today, however, I think every senior in this room would agree with me that to use the word quickly would be an understatement. For many of us, this was very unexpected. I think the good memories are what make time feel faster. I've found that when I reflect on these last 4 years and the 4 slightly greasier years of middle school before that, it isn't the streetcar named Desire or the molar mass of potassium nitrate that stand out in my memory. It's the Friday night football. It's the engaging classroom discussions, and it's the adventures I've had with my friends. Who knew that high school could be so fun and so short? After that dose of nostalgia, I'd like to talk about life after high school. Because today is more than just a day of endings, and although I believe it's important to celebrate the completion of high school and its many activities, today we look forward into the future and at all of life's next challenges. Whether it be getting a job, continuing your education at college, or learning how to schedule your own doctor's appointments, each one of us has goals that we'd like to see through. This is the portion of my speech where I impart unto all of you my deep and unsolicited wisdom. As with any goal, no matter the magnitude, there will always be obstacles in the road and excuses to be made. Fear, inhibitions, and laziness are all culprits to blame for us not following through with the goals we've set. The world tells you you don't have what it takes and that you're aiming too high. You begin to compare yourself to others and you lose confidence in yourself. With the proliferation of social media in our lives, we're asking for more insecurities every time we scroll through Instagram. The unfortunate result of this is a whole lot of people not reaching their full potential because they are afraid to set ambitious goals, or they have just abandoned their dreams altogether. There's a short story I'd like to share by an unknown author that does a great job of illustrating the point I'm trying to make. The elephant rope. A gentleman, while walking through an elephant camp, noticed that the elephants were not being kept in cages or being held by the use of chains. All that was holding them back from escaping the camp was a small piece of rope tied to one of their legs. As the man gazed upon the elephants, he was confused as to why they didn't just use their strength to break the rope and escape. He could easily have done so, but instead they didn't try at all. Curious, he asked a trainer nearby why they never tried to escape. The trainer replied, "When they are very young and much smaller, we use the same size rope to tie them, and at that age, it's enough to hold them. As they grow, they believe the rope can still hold them, so they never try to break free." The only reason the elephants weren't breaking free and escaping from the camp is that over time, they adopted the belief that it just wasn't possible. In this analogy, each goal you make is escaping the camp, and every fear or inhibition you have is the rope tied to your foot. All of us, of course, are the elephants. As we go through life, we adapt and grow. What was impossible for you in the past is not necessarily impossible now. I have a great example. Parents, remember your seniors when they were just babies? They weren't able to talk or to walk or to even crawl. Could you imagine if they just gave up? If they never learned to read, or if you never guided them as they learned new skills? I'm not sure if they would have made it to this stage today. A baby can't break that rope. You can't give up until you've tried to break free from your rope. And if you can't break the rope, wait some time, hit the gym, and try again. People say life is short, but living is the longest thing you'll ever do. There's always time to accomplish your goals. Now, the goals that you set and what you choose to do with your life is your prerogative, but my advice remains the same. The first prerequisite to greatness is to listen to your heart and determine what makes you happy. Overcoming the negative opinions of others is the second, and the third is taking action. When you work towards something with passion and fervor, success is inevitable. If there's one thing that never fails to consistently yield the most exciting and worthwhile outcomes, it is the courage to act. Trust yourself, trust the process, control what you can control, and everything else will fall into place. After 4 short years, today we leave the school alumni, and today we reap the benefits of our hard work. We've blessed the school with our presence, and now it's time for us to go. I'm confident that the coming years hold a lot in store for the Webster City High School class of 2019, and more than anything, I look forward to seeing the extent of our collective legacy. When I look out among the sea of purple, I see engineers, I see doctors, artists, mechanics, ventriloquists. I see the future, and the future is bright. Not only the future of Webster City, or the future of Iowa, but the future of the world. I've known most of these students since kindergarten, so I think I'm qualified to make these claims. This class will change the world. So, seniors, follow your dreams. Don't let anyone stand in your way, and prove me right. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Great words of wisdom, great challenges for your classmates. At this time, we'd like to welcome our senior choir members back to the stage. Mr. Witherspoon will lead them in Seasons of Love. Thank you, senior choir members. At this time, we'd like to turn it over to Miss Dom and members of the band. Senior members of the band, please go ahead and join them for exaltation. At this time, I'd like to recognize the 20 students that will be receiving the Cessna 3.75 Scholarship Award. These students have earned a cumulative grade point average of 375 or greater over their entire high school career, ranking them as the top students in the class of 2019. Students, when you hear your name called, please stand and face the audience. Remain standing until all members of this year's class of 20 are recognized for their excellence. Members of the audience, please hold your applause until we get all students identified. Joshua Cassidy, Natalie Askland, Brady Otterer, Braden Berg, Isaac Bernard, Drake Doolittle, Nathan Farrell, Tyler Gepfert, Michael Gilbert, Sean Godfredson, Alex Hooker, Isabel Hooker, Atlanta Hott, Cheyenne Johnson, Austin Lampman, Jackson Lehman, John Pazinski, Madison Schwerin, Caitlin Seeley, and Zoe Woodall. Let's give these 20 students a big round of applause. All right, students, may you take your seats? The time we've all been waiting for.
Dr. Ross, Ms. Van Dies, and Mr. Patterson, on behalf of the staff and administration of Webster City High School, I present the class of 2019. These students have completed all requirements as set forth by the State Department of Education and the Board of Education of Webster City Community Schools. I recommend they be granted diplomas signifying the completion of these requirements. As I call the final roll, audience, please hold your applause. Joshua Ryan Cassidy. Javier Alcala Arriaga. Jorge Alexander Alvaro Ramirez. Brandon James Asherle. Natalie Lee Askland. Maggie Jo Ruth Atchison. Brady Michael Otterer. Emma Rose Bailey. Carter Riley Bedford in absentia. Braden Wayne Corbin Berg. Isaac John Groth Bernard. Brock Allen Blake. Daniel Sherman Blankenship. Allie Jo Bohr in absentia. Lily Beth Brady Hobart. Alyssa Marie Brockett. Samantha Kathleen Camp. Aaron Michael Campbell. Jocelyn Lee Clark in absentia. Hunter James Collicott. Garrett Patrick Ray Cusey. Camry Kate Dawson. Sharina Claire DeRoche. Gage Allen Wayne Dixon. Jonathan Riley Dixon. Drake Stephen Doolittle. Harley Marie Drager. Gabriel Marissa Dewar. Madison Michelle Divig. Jacob Stephen Elliott in absentia. Hunter Allen Fair. Dakota Michael Moss. Caden Scott Feltz. Nathan Dean Farrell. Ashlyn K. Fortune. Alexandria Sylvia Fredrickson. Avery Joseph Gamble in absentia. Thomas Lafayette Garcia Cortez. Tyler Wade Geffert. Michael Brian Gilbert. Sean Cameron Gottfredson. Marco Rene Gomez. Rachel Marie Hallbach in absentia. Maxwell Kent Harfst. Caden Alexander Heck. Julissa De Jesus Hernandez. Nicholas Scott Heidemann. Clay Matthew Hillpiper. Christopher Michael Irichetta. Jacob Gilbert Hirsch. Dawson Stephen Yemland. Alex Eugene Hooker. Isabel Marie Hooker. Atlanta Jaden Hopp. Henry Lee Hoverstein. Colton Allen Hubbard. Carson Ryan Johnson. Cheyenne Lorraine Johnson. Kaney Carter Johnson. Yadiel Johnson Santana and abstention. Wyatt Andrew Jones. Miguel Angel Juarez Senso. Tucker Owen Judkins. Colby Michael Koch. Trace David Kepler. Zachary Austin Kessner. Austin Jeffrey Lampman. Kylie Alyssa Lance. Ursula Claire Lexell. Jackson Allen Arthur Lehman. Angel Luis Lopez Mateos. Brianna Marie Luke. Samantha Lee Main. Brazen Shaw Leslie McBurney. Lacey Marie McConnell. Jordan Charles McFarland. Katie Roberta McFarland. Zeke Ryan McMillan. Alicia Annabelle Mendez Mendez. Alma Guadalupe Mendoza Anchanda. Zachary Michael Messerly. Grisel Mogul Torres. Anne Marie Morsbach. Michelle Mota Mejia in absentia. Holly Marie Myers. Kayla May Nelson. Tyler Bruce Nelson. Samantha Mara Newman. Emmeline Avery Isabella O'Hearn. Peter Joseph Ollert. Caleb Gregory Olson. Dalton James Peck. Jessica Dawn Pennington. Eric Perez. John Joseph Pazinski. Payne Timothy Pingle. Emma Jean Piper. Hannah Taylor Plain. Mackenzie Irene Poland. Takaya Alexandria Renee Pride. Breanne Ramos. Sierra Rose Remick. Henry Mormicio Rodriguez Benitez. Kirsten Eliza Runyon. Cameron Ian Taylor Savitsky. Jacob Joseph Shute. Madison Ann Schwering. Caitlin Rose Seeley. Shannon Dean Smith. Lathany Tata Somsak. Aaron Anton Samvong in absentia. Cassie K. Starner. Dylan Allen Steen. Carson David Struken. Aiden Michael Sullivan. Trey Joseph Temple. Braden Ray Thong Suk. Priscilla Patana Thong Suk. Elian Tejeros. Martin Torres. Joshua Roland Van Houten. Tatiana Tia Konkta Van Kam. Gavin Richard Wagner. Sydney Michelle Wardell. Ben Lee Westberg. Cynthia K. Whitehill. Jacob Lee Weidick Huffstutler. Alexander Jacob Wolfgram. Zoe Lynn Woodle. On behalf of the school board administration and staff at Webster City High School, I present the class of 2019.
Class of 2019, you're dismissed.